YouTubing friends, and welcome to this video on a review and overview of Uboat, which is a submarine simulator or U-boat simulator management simulator game. It's in early access. I've had it for a few weeks and I've put some amount of time into playing it, which I fully recommend doing it. I got it on a sale for just under £16, which was an absolute bargain. It's usually on sale for around £24. That's the price they're charging, full price, for this early access game. It's definitely worth it at the full price. Now, a couple of things I feel I should mention about this. This is a highly involving, quite complex submarine simulator. I was a big fan of games like Silent Service on the Commodore 64 and Silent Service 2 on the Commodore Amiga. They were fun. They were submarine simulators, kind of like similar U-boats or submarine simulators, but they were quite simple, very simple in comparison to this. If you're going to buy this, do realise that this is quite complex and you do have to put a good amount of hours into it before you get going. But once you do, it really is fantastic. Another thing I should mention, it's in early access, of course. There's a few bugs. I've not found any game-breaking bugs. It looks fantastic, very modern graphics. Actually, it looks beautiful in some parts. But it's something you should bear in mind. It's in early access, it's not fully released yet. But there's lots of development and patches which are constantly being put out for it, which is a good thing. So it's a very sort of active development on the game. Anyway, I do have a game in progress. But let me show you first the new game menu. If you were to buy this game, this is what you'll come across. So let's go to new game. There's a tutorial here at the top. Now if I click on that and go next, you will find that there's a warning. It's now obsolete, this tutorial, apparently. They're recommended that you go and look on YouTube. If you look in my description below, I've linked a YouTube video from Slightly Salted. I love that name, Slightly Salted. But he does a fantastic, very clear, very concise tutorials on U-boat. And I fully recommend you go and look at his videos, because that's where I learnt most of my knowledge on how to play the game. But I did actually go through this tutorial just to learn the mechanics of the game. But yeah, highly recommend you look at YouTube, especially the guy I've posted, the playlist I posted before, down below rather, because his tutorials are very good. Then you've got other gameplay, sort of normal gameplay modes. I've actually got a game going on this one, I believe. I've got a game in process going on this. There's various different ones from normal difficulty right through to very hard. The reason I've not tried this one yet, but the reason this will be very hard difficulty is because it's later in the war when the Allies were developing ways of detecting U-boats, and U-boats were actually very much being blown out of the water left, right and centre. So yeah, that would be very challenging. Maybe one day I'll try that once I put a number of more hours into the game. Anyway, I won't go into this one. Let's go back to the main menu. I'm going to continue with my game. So click continue there. It's going to take a while to load, so I'll come back when it's loaded. Okay, so we're loaded into the game, and this is typically what you'll see when you first start a U-boat, when you first go on your first mission. You'll see something slightly different here. I've got more coins or more budget because I'm 10 hours into the game, or over 10 hours at the moment, which is minuscule compared to some people. I'm probably going to put twice that amount in at least in this game, because it is very addicting. But you'll start with something like 6,000 budgets. I've got enough money now that I don't need to worry when I need to resupply and restock my ship. I've got loads of money. In fact, I'm not going to have to worry about budgets ever again, it looks like. You've got the view of your U-boat in dock, of course. If you zoom in with your mouse, you get this sort of I guess the best way to describe it would be like a sim view. Remember The Sims, the old computer game? Sort of sim view of your U-boat. You can see into the various compartments. Some people are resting. You've got the cook there. You've got these guys playing cards. No, they're eating at the moment. You've got a guy in the engine room maintaining the engines. And you've got a guy up front here. That's him. Sort of managing and loading the torpedoes into your torpedoes tubes. Generally, you'll be playing the game in this sort of view, but if you wish to, you can go into first person mode. I'll just scroll my mouse wheel forward, and now I'm in first person mode. Actually, while I'm in first person mode, let's give you a tour of this U-boat. So you've got these guys here obviously resting on bunks. Interestingly, the torpedoes are usually stored underneath here. So when he's loading torpedoes, he shifts these guys off these bunks. And you can see that in game, which is quite fun. You've got this guy sweeping the decks here. Good job, mate. Good job. Good job. A guy resting there. He's actually another one of my officers, I believe. We'll go under here. There's a bit of water on the floor here. That does happen with weather and bobbing on the sea. And you can actually drain that water by turning on one of the... I think is it the compressor? No, maybe not the compressor, but one of the controls will drain the water out of the U-boat. You can also perform repairs when your U-boat gets damaged by destroyers and goodness knows what. Lots of highly complex mechanics in the game, but not overly complex, thankfully. This guy's cucking away there. Then you've got the engine room. Look, he's listening to the engines. So it's all very authentic. Very much like Das Boat or Das Boot, the old sort of cult status U-boat film back in the day that many of us love. This very much feels like you are in that film. Excellent for that. Anyway, like I say, generally I play the game in this sort of mode, controlling my men. You'll see at the bottom here, they've got sort of various bars underneath their name. These are the officers that you control, and you can get more of them as you unlock perks in the game. See, I've got one perk here. You can actually unlock perks so you can get more officers and more upgrades for your U-boats, and goodness knows what. The more time you put in, the more you'll get out of it, and that is very true for this game. But like I say, you've got energy bars underneath here. His energy bar's full at the moment. He's resting. He's full. His is going down slowly. When these deplete, you have to send them off to rest, otherwise they won't perform very well. And in fact, when they do deplete fully, they go off to bed automatically. Because you're spending weeks and days out at sea patrolling the waters. So obviously they're not going to stay awake for a week. You have to send them off to sleep and get rest. And then they come back rejuvenated and they go back to their duties. So it's very authentic in that way. Another thing you can do as well, let's just click out of that, is the galley here. Let's just click on that. Now, I've just spent a mission out on sea. It took me like a week in game time to do this mission. I had a lot of food in the galley, but obviously that's been eaten, depleted during that time. You can restock from your storage room into the galley, and this helps to raise the morale of your men on the ship as well. That's another mechanic of the game. Let's just transfer them, so now they've got a varied diet. If this discipline rather, goes down, you may find people panicking on the boat, and if you're under attack and they're screaming, they're obviously going to give away your location. So you want to keep that discipline up. It does deplete when you're underwater, there's no way of stopping that, but having things like a varied diet does help to raise it. Anyway, I'm not going to make this a tutorial, but let's show you, when you first load into the game, you'll be thinking, how do I get a mission? And the way to do that, click on your officer, on your captain, which is this, the Capitan graph, and then click over there where you see this car. This is your leading officer. This is the guy you'll get missions from. It's quite a novel way of actually getting missions, I find. Are there any orders from the Admiralty? So let's click on that. Current orders for your eyes only. And here you can choose various missions to do. You can see basically we're docked around this sort of area, not far from the English Channel and the North Sea, and goodness knows what's around the UK basically. Bit perverse, but that's what the game is. You're attacking allies, you're attacking the English generally, or the allies' merchant trade ships. So that's quite an interesting one. Travel to the port. I think I might try this since it's come up. You get various different missions and it's all random. Recently I did a mission on patrolling an area around here, and an order came up for me to attack a landing carrier, which I did, which was fantastic. Missions can be very varied, but you have to put the hours into the game to get these missions. I'm actually going to take this one here, because this didn't come up previously. So basically it won't be patrolling, it'll just be travelling to a new area, and then I can report to my leading officer. That's interesting. I'm going to take that one. But I can show you some of the mechanics while we're out at sea. So basically that's where you get your missions from. You can also request a break. You can also research from here. I won't go into that because I don't want to make this too much of a tutorial. Basically, you saw there before, though, that I depleted my food rations. I'm going to have to refuel on that. So I'm going to have to go to the warehouse here, or replenish my food rations, and then go to this guy where you can buy, let's say, show me what you've got. You can buy things like ammo and food from here, and various different items like first aid kits and repair kits. Replacement parts basically to repair your boats in case you get attacked. What I do want to do is buy more food because I've just depleted my food rations. So I'm going to buy plenty of food because I'm going to spend a long time at sea. You want to make sure you've got plenty of food. It will be eaten up. Let's buy plenty. I don't have to worry about money. When you first start, you do have to be a bit more careful with your budget. Once you've done a few missions, you get plenty of money. You don't have to worry. I'm not going to have to worry about ammo. I've not used my flat gun or deck gun in my previous missions, so I don't have to worry. Maybe I used a bit of my deck gun, but I'm still not going to have to worry about ammo at the moment. Fuel, every time I come back in from a mission, I refuel automatically in case I forget next time. So I don't head out to sea on a empty fuel tank, because that can happen. So fuel, I've already refueled, but you buy fuel from there. Torpedoes, I used a heck of a lot on my previous mission. Now, I generally go for the T1 torpedoes, which are sort of a diesel controlled torpedoes, I believe. They've only got the T2 in stock at the moment, so I'm going to have to restock on these. Actually, probably don't need to, because I'm just going to go and move to a different dock. Or head to a different location to dock. But I may come across some enemy allied ships, or freighters, which I can sink. So it's well worth restocking on torpedoes. And I can always sell these back at a later date if I find more T1s in stock. So basically, I've just restocked. Let's choose another one there. Like I say, I don't have to worry about budget, but you can see my budgets. The amount of money I have has gone down. Still got over 70,000, so don't need to worry about that. And you can buy various other things like items. I do want to buy more coffee. Coffee, basically, the energy bars I showed you before. If you need a quick boost to your energy bars, you need your officers on deck. You can't send them off to rest. Give them a drink of coffee. It'll boost their energy. Let's buy another one. Let's actually buy more of these breathing apparatus. In case I get attacked and the compartments get flooded, you'll need these breathing apparatus to let your mechanic breathe underwater so he can repair the damage. So basically that's all I need from the warehouse, but that's where basically you will restock. You'll get to this screen there saying that your U-boat is off duty for 3 days while they transfer the items from the warehouse to your U-boat. So if you click on that, it'll just basically fast travel the time, basically. It'll just zoom through those days. And there we are. You'll find now that I'm fully restocked. I can check that simply by looking at my storage here. And I should have the food, yep, that I just bought from the warehouse all in there. The galley's got plenty... Well, let's put some more food into the galley. So they've got plenty of food in the galley. I've got plenty of food here for my mission ahead. So with all that done, everything's restocked. We can actually now head out to sea. It's not the best time to show you. It's night time. It's difficult to see where to steer, but I'm used to this dock, so it's not going to be a problem. The way you do it, you right click to move to plot a course. If I zoom out there, you can see more of the map. Generally you'll be sent on patrols to various different grid coordinates. So you could be sent here. I was sent here on my last mission. You could be sent here. You could be sent here to roam the British Isles, or here, or here, or here. Basically, it's sending me out now to dock at a different port. Travel to Port La Rochelle. La Rochelle, so I want to be going down to here. So I will be travelling here. I may come across some destroyers or some freighters that I can sink. So that's quite good. So to get there, to plot a course. So I don't want to make this too much of a tutorial. But to plot a course... You would zoom in, especially when you're coming out of dock, because you've got to be careful not to bang into the sides. And then you would right click on the map on where you would want to go. And then you would hold shift key and right click again to make another waypoint. And again, I can zoom out a bit there. And again, etc, etc. So I'll go up here, zoom out again. Travel across here, zoom out even more. As you can see, this is some way to travel, so this will take a good amount of days to get to this point. And then etc, you'll just keep travelling, setting waypoints rather. And your U-boat will follow these waypoints. So you come off the map screen back to the main screen of your U-boat, and then you go to this screen here, which is the telegraph, and you will set a speed. So let's go forward 3, and here we go. We're travelling out of port. And this is essentially the way you would control your U-boat. You can set the various screens. You can actually click here to sort of, if I right clicked on various left or right here, your U-boat will steer left or right as well. But I've got a course set to send me out. You can fast forward timing. That's going to take some time to get out of here. Let's fast forward time a little bit. Accelerate time, rather. Just to speed things up. As you can see though, the graphics, it's at night time at the moment, but even now the graphics look rather nice. You've got the moon and some clouds over there. You've got the port you're sailing out of. It's a very modern U-boat game. Modern graphics, which is very good to have. There's a docks opening for me there, and as you can see, we're travelling out. As you head out to sea, as you fast forward time, you'll find things, when you get into open water, you'll find things suddenly zoom. You can travel a lot quicker. So to cover ground, this ground, you can do that in a matter of minutes by accelerating time. Like I say, once it gets into open water, it will let you know, and then you can just zoom across the map, if you wish to. So there we go. I'll let this forward travel a bit further, and then I'll come back when we're at a more interesting point in the game. Actually, that didn't take me long at all. We've come to a more interesting point. Let's turn off that time compression so we're back into normal time. You could see my captain, his actually energy has drained. He needs to go and rest. The way I can do this, you can do this basically by clicking on him and zooming in, and then actually ordering him to go and rest on one of the bunks. Another way of doing this is holding down the tab key, choosing your captain, and say go and rest. Just click choose the rest button there. Now he's going to rest basically because his energy had depleted quite a lot. However, I'm going to actually put them on navigation. It's important you choose navigation here. Otherwise you could be lost at sea. So I'll do that, and I'll let this go forward now. Click on time compression. I'll come back when it reaches a more interesting point. Okay, so we've left our starting dock way behind there. As you can see, our port, we've left it way behind. We're now in open water. When you get to this point, you'll find a little icon comes up on your map, or your main screen if you're not in the map. Long distance travel. Our boat is now on the open sea, far from anything else. Travel speed on the map is now much faster. Let me show you this in action. I actually had it on pause there. But let's go to one time compression. You will see it's travelling a lot quicker along the map now. If I go to 5 times, you'll see it goes a lot quicker. There we go. Let's just click that off so it's going back to normal speed. This is a bit of an unusual mission. I'm just asked to travel to Port La Rochelle to report to my leading officer. Most missions will ask you to go and go to a certain sector. A sector will be a square on the map. Go and sort of travel to that sector and travel through it a number of kilometers, and then you will get a reward, like a bonus, and you complete your mission. You get the added bonus, added mission, like a secondary mission of sinking ships. You'll find, and this probably happened within real time as well, within the World War II U-boats, that they went on a mission and didn't find anything. You'll find that in the game as well. Sometimes you just travel to a sector and you won't find anything to sink. On the next mission, you go and you may find many ships to sink and many destroyers to avoid and aircraft carriers. On my last mission, I was told to attack, as a bonus mission, an aircraft carrier, or a landing carrier, or whatever it was, and I destroyed it, and I got a huge bonus. So it really depends on the mission, but it can be quite realistic in that aspect. Sometimes you don't find anything to destroy. Anyway, what I'll do, I'll keep travelling. I'm only going to another port, so something may not happen within this specific mission. Let me show you something though from my previous mission that I recorded, and show you what you actually can come up against. So here you go, this is quite an interesting part. I actually got a bonus mission of sinking a landing carrier, and it had a group of freighters with it. As you can see through my attack periscope, I've got one locked up. So essentially what you do here, you go to your sort of map view, and then you can actually manually calculate the solution for your torpedoes, the range and travel and goodness knows what, or you can do it automatically by clicking one of your officers and he will try and calculate that solution for you. Once you have a good solution on your target, then you can fire your torpedoes. So let's show you that bit. So here you go, I attained a good solution. I fired my torpedoes at the target, and as you can see, it's got 40 seconds so until it contacts. Let's see what happens here. "20 seconds to go. Let's hope my solution is good. It's over 90% solution on the target. And there you go, it's a hit. What a beautiful hit. I've actually sunk that freighter. This is the main mechanic of the game. You want to be hunting these freighters, these trade ships, and sinking as many as you can. So there you go. And let's show you some of that graphic fidelity of the game. I mean, look at this. We're in a group of islands just off the north of Scotland. Look how beautiful this game can be. Absolutely wonderful. That's where I am, specifically. Yeah, just look at that. This game can be absolutely stunning looking at times. Really does blow you away with its graphics. So should you buy Uboat? Well, it depends on what kind of game you enjoy, of course. If you're into simulation generally, specifically submarine warfare, U-boat simulators, if this is attractive to you, absolutely go for it. If you enjoy games like Silent Hunter, Silent Service from way back in the day, you wanted more out of those simulators, then this is a game for you. It's probably the best submarine U-boat, certainly, simulator management game out on the market. Feels very authentic, lots to learn. Like I say, I'm just over 10 hours into the game myself. I've only learnt a fraction of what there is to learn in the game. You can upgrade your U-boat, research better items, better sort of equipments for your U-boat. Essentially things like better torpedoes and goodness knows what. Just feels very authentic. Feels like you're in the Das Boot film. You're actually taking part of it. And that's fantastic. There's even the option of actually going to roam the seas by myself. You can unlock perks in the game by getting basically experience and reputation. Reputation is basically experience you gain other missions. Unlock a perk. You don't need to choose a mission. You can just go and roam the seas and look for trade ships to sink and goodness knows what, and spend a month at sea if you wanted to. In that respect, it's fantastic. It's got quite a steep learning curve, and you do have to keep that in mind. You do have to invest the hours into the game to get the best out of it. It's not just going to be a quick pick up and play. Do look at that YouTube video that I linked, Slightly Salted. His videos are very informative, and that will get you up and playing in no time whatsoever. So a high recommendation from me, but I'll be interested to know your thoughts. Do leave your comments below. Don't forget to give the video a like if you liked it. Subscribe for more great videos, and I'll be seeing you soon.